welcome to NDI Central Live. I'm Rex Olson, and we're webcasting directly from NAB 2018. We're here at the NewTek booth at the South Hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center, and we're talking to all kinds of developers and users of NDI Technology and NewTek products. And kicking things off, we have the one and only Dr. Andrew Cross, CTO and President of NewTek, joining us this morning.
Thank you, Rex.
Andrew, a lot has been going on leading up to NAB, and we have a lot of great announcements. Why don't we start off with maybe some of the new products? Okay,
so we've announced a lot of things here. So, you know, on the live production side of things, we have TriCaster with LiveGraphics, which allows you to go and create sophisticated animated graphics inside Photoshop, inside Adobe CC, then bring these in and use it as if it was a true professional hand graphics system. And so that this will help elevate people's show quality just dramatically. So that you know, that's one thing we're showing here. We have full integrated KVM support, so over IP, so that using NDI and the kind of technologies we've developed there, you can fully KVM remotely control our products. We have pan and scan capabilities, we have better keying. I mean, the list just goes on and on. We support touchscreen now. So in terms of our live production products, you know, they continue to really push the boundaries forwards. On top of that, we have a lot of other things. We have our NDI Spark Connect Pro, which is a little device about, what, this size.
It's 4K.
Right? That does full 4K P60 over NDI, full true NDI. It's not NDI HX, it's full NDI. And so, you know, that is going to make it easy now for people to actually use 4K, which has always been the problem. We have all the processing and real-time capabilities, but actually getting the video in has been a challenge. And so our aim is to, you know, to help try to solve that.
And there really isn't quite the demand for 4K. It hasn't really widespread, but being able to bring that 4K camera in, you can do things like pan and scan in an HD project.
That's right, and this is actually one of the reasons why we made pan and scan on every video input on our switchers now an option, so that you can bring in 4K. And even if you're going out to somewhere like the web, where you don't necessarily want a full 4K delivery, you can actually treat it like a shot like this with the two of us. We can actually have a single camera that can be used to frame both of us. You can do pan and scan, you can move, you can zoom, and so on, all in real time.
Fantastic. Now, we also announced a new remote storage system, isn't that right?
That's right, and so obviously we've spent a lot of talking about moving the video over IP, but it's obvious that people for quite some time have wanted to store their files and the storage and the medium all on centralized storage, so they can move them into the production all over a network. And so we've worked with our good friends at SNS to help build a product, or 3 products actually, that enable full remote storage capabilities, you know, within our line.
Yeah, because we started on tape a long time ago, then we went to drives. That's right. And more and more drives stacked up. Now we've moved on to a full network storage system for basically endless amounts of.
That's right, and I think it's more than that. It's also about accessibility, because tape, you had to hold it in your hands. Hard drives, you didn't need, you know, they were inside your machine, but they needed to be in the machine you were using. But centralized storage makes it really much more flexible, because it's now centralized, which means everybody can access it. So you can be recording to it off your live production system, but then editing it in Premiere or something else at the same time. Now,
let's talk about some of the new features that have been added to NDI 3.5. We made that announcement just a couple of days ago as well.
Correct. So NDI 3.5, just at a straight technology level, is a big step forward. So we've done a lot of things there. We've made the transfer of data over the local Ethernet much more efficient. I mean, it's dramatically more efficient. For instance, if you have multiple NICs in the machine, it will discover all the network paths from one machine to the other, and then spread out the bandwidth across all of them, which makes it just far more reliable. It allows on, you know, our goal has always been to work on existing infrastructure, and so this makes working on existing infrastructure far, far better. Now, going beyond that, we've done a lot of work to make the tools that come with NDI vastly better. So Studio Monitor, which is how you actually view NDI sources, has a full web server built into it, and what that allows is you to use a phone or a tablet as the remote control of the system. So you can have a screen like this one here, you can have it running full screen with Studio Monitor, and then you can have your phone, you can switch which sources there are. You can even choose two sources and do it either as picture-in-picture, or you can have one source overlay the other. So since NDI supports key and fill, so alpha channel with graphics, and really almost all the graphics systems support this, it allows you to do the graphics compositing on the display system now, which is a big step forwards, because before, if you had a large number of displays and wanted to display slightly different graphics on all of them, you needed a switcher output to drive each one, which becomes very expensive and very hard to maintain quickly. And so this changes all of that.
Now tell us a little bit about, we also have improvements with NDI virtual input, as well as, tell us a little bit about that.
So what virtual input is it takes any NDI source and on a Windows machine allows it to become a virtual webcam, if you will. So if you're using Zoom Media, or if you're using Skype for Business or GoToMeeting, NDI will actually be available as if it was a webcam to those applications. And so what this means is that any of your NDI streams that are being produced on the network can be taken and sent out and distributed over all of those different venues. You can use them in Google Hangouts. And I mean, this just makes NDI accessible as kind of a broadcast platform, not just through the typical streaming, you know, the delivery, the web streaming kind of YouTubes and Facebooks, but also through kind of chat services and training services, which opens up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
really
right.
Broadens out the possibilities.
That really does.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have also added Vlc Media Player support.
That's right. So we've had VLC Media Player for support for some time, but the VLC is and I should say VLC Media Player is literally by far the #1 media player in the world. And the VLC Media Player team just came out with version 3, so we're fully compatible now with version 3. The same with Adobe CC. We're fully compatible with the absolute latest version of Adobe CC in 3.5. Then we also added Scan Converter, which can now do full 60 frame per second screen capture with almost no CPU usage, so you can use it to capture computer games. You can use it to capture PowerPoints. So, I mean, the list goes on and on.
So we'll be seeing those improvements in products very, very shortly after the show, I would
That's
imagine,
right. And you know, probably all of this was ready to ship this week, but with all that goes on at NAB, we decided it'd be a lot safer to wait till a week or two afterwards to actually get it out there, so it can all be fully tested and we can get a bit of feedback and a bit of beta testing and so on. But you know, we're not announcing some kind of pie in the sky future thing. This is coming really, really soon.
Now, finally, let's talk about another really big announcement, and that's being demonstrated here at the show is virtualized production. Talk
That's
about
right.
that a little bit.
So the concept of virtualized production is based on this idea that the TV station of the broadcast facility of the future is not going to look like a traditional broadcast facility. I think NewTek have been saying for a long time that it's going to be based on computers. But if you go to the way data centers are set up, which is where everything's going, you know, you have racks of machine and all the machines are virtualized. So you're choosing which machines to run pieces on. You can move them around. You can spin up a second instance easily. And so what we have done is we've started with our IP series, which is our large production switcher, and we've made it so that it can be entirely virtualized, meaning that you can run it on a off-the-shelf server, you can fire up new instances, you can move them around, and because we're all IP, we're all computer, this literally means that you can start looking at your TV station as a full data center, which is really where things are going. So this is, you know, definitely groundbreaking technology that is clearly where the industry is headed, and so it's really exciting to be one of the first companies that are really putting this into practice.
So it's really going to give more capabilities and more power in terms of production value to more people, since you won't have to be dragging equipment to remote locations. You'll be able to have it in a centralized.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think that when it comes to the management of shows, the management of how you set broadcast operations, if you want to set up a studio quickly somewhere, you just spin up the images needed for that. So, you know, we've worked very closely with people like VizRT, and so you need an automation system. You just fire up an automation virtual instance. You kind of stack these things together and can kind of snap together a production facility without a single wire in it, and then you deploy it as needed and where you need it when you need it.
Very, very exciting. We're definitely looking forward to that, and that's an effort between NewTek and Cisco.
Yeah, so we're working with Cisco on this. We're working with VizRT on this, and so the three of us, we're actually demonstrating at the Cisco booth probably what is the world's first truly virtualized production system that is capable of running a Sirius TV station now.
That's really fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
We have a very busy day ahead, I know.
We do.
You do as well.
Both of us do.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you, Andrew, for joining us. And
thank you.
Remember, if you are coming to NAB, make sure you stop by the South Hall, stop by the NewTek booth, check out NDI Central Pavilion, which is right next door to the NewTek booth, and also make sure you stop by the Cisco booth so you can see that virtualized production system in action. Well, stick around. We'll be back with more after this.